Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Okay, so I have been back at work for a little while now, and I thought I could show you guys how I use my Outlook calendar for work. This might be a pretty straightforward video, but just for some of us who use Outlook a lot for work or some sort of work calendar separate from our planners, I thought maybe this might be an interesting video for you guys, even if it is quite simple. Okay, so I've scrolled ahead in my work calendar like all the way to 2025 because I had to find a week that was relatively free. So I didn't show you all of my work meetings. But here what I first did was I just added a few slots of meetings, or what my typical calendar for a week would look like. It typically might have even more meetings than this. But of course, you know, you have your regular meeting invites that would happen in your calendar. And then I'm going to kind of show you how I manage to-dos and tasks and deadlines and all of that kind of stuff. So what I do for deadlines or tasks that I need to be done on a certain day, how I add those entries is actually, let me just show you. And of course, I'm doing this on my iPad because it's easy to film, but you can do it on your computer or whatever because it's all the same. What I do is when you open up a new event in your Outlook calendar, I will put my to-do. So let's say task due today, okay? So I'll put task due, and then what I'll put is I'll turn on the all day sign, and then it basically lists that item at the very top of your calendar, because at the very top it has the all day items, and that way it doesn't block anything during the day, and it's just something that's still visible when you're looking at your calendar, but it's not disrupting everything. I like to do this because I'm always looking at the weekly view of my work calendar so I can easily see when tasks are due. And then of course, if I'm, at the start of the week, I'm looking at this week and I see that this task is due on the Thursday, what I typically like to do is the day before, I will block off time in my calendar to do that task around the meetings that have already been set. So what I would do is say, let's say the day before at 9 to 10, I see a slot. I will go into here and then I'll put prep time for that task, okay? And then it kind of blocks out the time for me to complete that task so people aren't setting meetings at that time so that I can actually give myself time to do it. Now, if you don't want it to actually block your calendar because, you want it to be open, or you want others to see it as open so that they can book a meeting there if they really need to, what you can do is put show as and just show as free. And then when you put it in there, now I'll still have this prep time listed here. So I know that I need to, complete that task that's due tomorrow. But if somebody else is trying to send me an invite, it can just still be free so that they could actually block off that time if they wanted to. And I could technically move that prep time to some other time during the day. So that's what I kind of like to do with the tasks and the prep time for those tasks. I just find it is really organized that way, and that way I won't forget anything because it's all in kind of this one spot. Now, the next thing that I wanted to share with you guys that I like to do is if I need to talk about something or have notes about a certain meeting in advance of that meeting, what I like to actually do is, let me just show you. So say I have some notes that I want to make sure that I bring up for this meeting, right? I know, of course, that you can just go into your OneNote or wherever you keep notes and write it there, but sometimes those notes kind of get lost, and when I go ultimately have the meeting, I forget about it, especially if the meeting is like a week or two in advance. I've completely forgotten that I made notes that I want to talk about in this meeting. So what I like to do is I just like to make a reminder for myself beside the meeting. So let me just show you. So my meeting was on the Thursday, and what I'm just going to do is put this kind of entry right on top, and I'm going to put in like meeting notes, right? This is the meeting notes ahead of time. It's not the meeting notes that I'm taking during the meeting, because those are easy to just put in your OneDrive or wherever you store your notes. But these are the notes that I have in preparation for the meeting, or I want to talk about the meeting that I don't necessarily want to share with everybody else. It's just notes for myself. So I'm going to put meeting notes ahead of time. And then I'll put it at the time of the meeting. Then I go down here and the show as, again, I'll put it as free. So now you'll see I have the meeting notes beside the meeting entry. I like to do it this way because I know my calendar is something that I'm always going to be looking at, and not necessarily my notes or other areas or even my personal paper planner. Like, the Outlook is my one source of truth for work, so I like to try to keep everything onto here. And so here, when I go look at this meeting, I'll see that the notes were beside it, and it'll remind me to talk about those items. Okay. So those are just like a couple of the tips and tricks that I use to manage my Outlook calendar. I think they're pretty straightforward and pretty easy, and maybe most of you guys already do this, but I've been using this a lot recently, just, you know, utilizing the all day space for different things, utilizing this show as free to remind me for different types of things, and I just find it's made it really easy and helpful for me at work to be on top of everything and not to forget anything. Now, if you guys have any tips and tricks that you guys use for your Outlook, or how to integrate this maybe with your paper planner so that you're not forgetting things, or that it's making it more efficient, let us know down below. If you guys like this video, you guys might also want to check out my hybrid planner system that I use for work. That I'll link right over here. And I will see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!